start with talking about how this team responded coming off its last game and this performance overall today?
I think clearly it was the response we were looking for. I think from Monday, the players were very accountable, went about it just the way you would expect them to. Everybody contributed today. Excellent team win. We had a ton of production, and we were pretty much dominant there in the first half. So it's great to see the locker room the way it is right now. But I think that's what you're looking for. The preparation was excellent, and our guys did a great job of applying it to today and play with great emotion. Won a turnover differential, and did a lot of good things.
What does it say about your defense to lose Gregory and then go out there and have that type of performance?
I think it says a lot, and I think it's really the path we've been on. We've been playing a lot of different players, particularly young players, throughout the season, and so this week was no different. We just we didn't change the plan, and the timing of Randy's injury was Wednesday, so there was definitely time to adjust. But I think the point I'm making is it shows the confidence that we have in our players, in our defensive front there, just to go next man up and keep rolling.
Was it extra sweet for Dan, do you think?
I think that's obvious. It's human nature. We were all very happy for Dan and the guys that obviously were in Atlanta last year. So I think it's natural, goes on in this league, and I was obviously very happy for Dan.
Jordan Lewis, Coach, how would you describe his game and how he set the tone?
Love his fight, almost too much fight at times, and you love that about him. Jay Lou's so competitive. I thought he played probably one of his better games today, but his tenacity and I think that's a big part of his presence as a leader, also in our locker room. So Jay Lou was excellent today.
When you think about all three phases really working today, can you talk about the sequence at the end of the first half? Your defense able to get the 3 and out, then obviously special teams, and then you go and get the 2.
Well, it's just really the definition of complementary football. Every team in this league thrives for it, and that was a big message. Emphasized message this week. Actually, you spend a little more time in the video game situation that we do on Fridays. Showing examples of complementary football throughout the league. The last 2 weeks. So, and it fell that way, and our guys responded very well. But yeah, I think that the fact that we get the 3 and out, and to set up the all-out rush there on punt. So the execution was very clean, and took the momentum into the locker room, and really wanted to come out the same way too. So I thought that was a big swing in the game right before the half.
You didn't defer after winning the toss for the first time this year. Was that obviously a decision of yours? The offense wanted to go out there and set the tone and go from there?
Yeah, definitely. You look at the matchups throughout the week, things that you are focused on as far as how they can stress you, and we had a lot of respect for their kickoff return coming into the game. So all those factors, you look at those every week. That's part of the game planning. I naturally would prefer to defer is in my natural, or would be my tendency. But this was purely a focus. We wanted to get out there, jump out front and get the lead, and let our defense play with the lead was the intent.
Last week, there was a lot of talk about the blueprint. Did Denver create a blueprint? Dak said he would welcome a similar approach. They didn't blitz a lot today, and he picked them apart. Do you kind of think that speaks to his ability to respond to whatever it is that not that it was the exact same, but something similar?
Well, they came out and played man early. So I think we went 5 for 5 against man for man. So, they came out with the intention of a challenge in our perimeter, and I'm sure part of that was, last week's game, and I just think it's all part of the response that you were looking for from our football team. So I thought Dak played excellent today, just in command, and our perimeter group really responded after last week.
Coach, was there a chip on the shoulder? How pissed were you guys following that loss to Denver last week?
Well, it's. It's part of it, and I think the most important thing is you're able to learn from all your experiences, and you have the opportunity to pay it forward. And I think as a football team we did. No one, 7 days ago we didn't like where we were when I was standing up here, but that was the response that we needed, and our guys did a hell of a job.
We've asked you a lot this year about your decisions on 4th down, especially early in games. today an example of why you continue to call it and you believe it does set the tone and help you overall over the course of the season?
Yeah, I mean, we treat fourth down no different than, third and 2 to 3 and third to, 6 to 10 and whatever, how it falls, red zone. I mean, fourth down is a situation. And not only is it the decision to go for it on fourth down, it obviously puts you in a different headspace on second and third down leading up to that. So, but yes, I think we have established a tendency of, how we would like to approach fourth down week in and week out. But, it is a game plan decision each week.
What about Dorrance Armstrong's performance today?
Dorrance was awesome today. I thought, to do it on both sides of defense and special teams, it's just great to have him back. I think, last week he was knocking off the rust a little bit, but I thought he was big time for us today.
Speaking of, I'm sorry, go.
You've got to be very pleased at the way you controlled and had the number of 3 and outs you had today. The third down conversion was not good at all.
No, absolutely. It was all, just like any football game starts up front, and I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and frankly, even in special teams, particularly with our punt rush. So, our guys needed to bring the hammer today, and we did that. And I think it was, evident, with the lead that we had there at halftime, and was able to finish it off in the second half.
Can you recall a victory when, just going back, when you dominated so completely on offense, defense, and special teams with the Black Buck?
Well, that's a complementary football, picture that you're looking for. So, I mean, that's, it's you have objectives each and every week, and it's nice when you hit them. And I just give all the credit to the players and coaches. I thought the in-game adjustment was we were on top of it. We had some penalties there in the second half. We'll learn from that. We'll take a look at those. But yeah, that's exactly this is what we needed to do today, and I commend our team for getting it done.
How would you describe it? Dak was up here last week, and he wasn't happy with his performance last week. We saw how he responded. How would you describe the game he had today?
Well, I think the key, coming out of last week was, Dak let me borrow his suit this week, so he wore here last week. So that's why we got it done. So, but no, I think that non-funny guys should not try to be funny on camera. That's for sure. But no, I mean, Dak. The thing about Dak, he's the same person every day, just the way he works. I don't think you could tell the difference, in the work week from the way he approaches it. But yeah, I mean, trust me, we understood what happened last week, and it didn't feel good, and I think just as a whole, we didn't give our fans a whole lot to cheer about last week, and they were outstanding today. I thought the environment just was awesome all the way from the kickoff all the way through. So, and I thank our fans for the environment that they created today.
So much was said last week about Dak playing in the fourth quarter, and you talked about the momentum of those 2 touchdowns. Did that carry over, do you think?
I think you ask any NFL quarterback an opportunity to have a live 2-minute drill, whether it's, at the end of the competitive periods on Thursday, training camp. I think that's quality work that pays forward.
How do you assess the play of your offensive tackles this week compared to last week?
I mean, I would say we definitely took a big step in the right direction, would be my sense.
Is Dak a more accurate passer today than when you first started with him, I guess, a year and a half ago?
I mean, that's, I think he has, and I think it's only natural. I think he's a lot more comfortable in the offense, and that's, and as I've always stated when we talk offensive philosophy, I mean, this offense will always be built around him. This is a quarterback-friendly, quarterback-driven system. So, as we move forward, I think he gets more and more comfortable with it.
Coach, just out of curiosity, did Coach Quinn, did he get a game ball?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Well, with that being said, Coach, I don't know if it's understated or overstated, but his impact to this year's defense, what has it been?
I mean, Dan's an outstanding coach, but he's even a better man. So I mean, he's a true brother in this as far as what we've established here and continue to want to grow. So. I think I said it on the radio before the game. There wasn't an individual in football ops that didn't want to see Dan get a game ball today.
Mike, there's a lot of talk about turnovers, forced takeaways, about not being unpredictable, week to week. But it seems like your team is doing it consistently. Is that something that they're doing specifically, or can you speak to that?
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, everybody trains. We spend I would say a high amount of time, even compared to former teams as far as the amount of practice time that we spend on the skill of it. But the reality of it is you got to create the opportunities. I mean, I never really get caught up in the actual number of how many we get. It's more about the opportunities, and it's just like anything in life. If you have more if we're in position to take the ball away more, we're going to get more takeaways because that adheres to our training, and our guys do a great job with that. Well, I think the whole National Football League, I mean, the fine motor skill, taking the ball away, the skill development that's gone on in the last 5 years is making it very difficult on offenses, and we spend obviously a lot of time on the other side of it, but, and that's really comes down to the pursuit and the finish, and we didn't have that last week. So obviously without seeing the film, but I felt like we were in position a number of times for potential takeaways, and that's really the key. So,
like you say, you always want complementary football, and you're working toward that, but when you're at your best, is it usually the offense setting the tone to get to that complementary football?
Well, I mean, it's been my history, but I've also, in Kansas City, the defense was in front of the offense. I'm just thinking back. So, to answer your question, it doesn't have to be the offense, or it's the defense. I mean, what's nice is when they take turns, because and that's what you're looking for, and you could make a point of last week. Our special teams played pretty good in the Denver game. That got lost in the evaluation because of the way, because we lost the game and how we lost the game. So, our special teams is on about a 4-game tier right now. So we're doing some really good things there that we'll continue to build off of. But yeah, the most important thing is you have the ability for all 3 phases to go win a game, and that's always the goal, the objective, and we'll continue to work.
You talked about Lamb's performance today, and did his ankle bother him last week reviewing that game?
I mean, yeah, CD had it was a real ankle. He did it in Wednesday's practice, so right near the end, for him to fight to get back. I think we probably underestimated a little bit in hindsight because he looked, he wasn't himself last week.
Michael Gallup, coach, any your observations of him?
Looked good. I mean, actually, Michael had a great week of practice, so it was good to get him. I don't know exactly where he came in as far as reps. I was hoping to get him around 25 plays in the game. So, but, we'll continue to, work on the fine details of the passing game, and it's great to have Michael back out there.
You couldn't ask for anything any better as far as the extra points today.
About
extra points?
Extra points, yeah. You mean kicking extra points only? Yeah. Good point. Yeah, I loved it. So, yeah, no, absolutely. So I thought, Laren did a great job in the touchbacks, too. So, I mean, that was a real focal point for us going into this week because, like I said, we had a lot of respect for their kickoff return game.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.